Okay, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
One second, I'll just share the screen. Okay, so Lakshmi had sent me a question yesterday. Could you please tell me the question? It was some e power minus x squared by 2 limit x tends to 0. There was no minus outside, right?
No, sir, no, sir.
Plus cos x
Minus cos x. Minus cos x.
by x cube tan x, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, like in such sticky situations, what you generally should do is expand. You know the expansion of e power x. What is that? 1 plus x by 1 factorial plus x squared by 2 factorial plus x cubed by 3 factorial and so on, infinite series. And if you're looking at cos x, expansion is 1 minus x squared by 2 factorial x power 4 by 4 factorial and so on. Okay, so we'll use that in the numerator because I see x cube in the denominator, so we can try to cancel a few terms out. So e power minus x squared. So, yeah.
Sir, how do we get those expansions, sir?
Uh, e power x expansion, I would like you to remember it only. Okay, e power x expansion.
Okay, sir.
The proof, I really can't think about it from the top of my head.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'll remember it as a formula.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I think you'll have to do it this way. Okay. E power x, there should be some proof, but what happens is, okay, think about this. When you do d by dx, how to remember it? When you do d by dx of e power x, you get e power x itself, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so try differentiating that RHS. What do you get? It becomes, this becomes 0, this becomes 1, this becomes 2x by 2 factorial, which is x by 1 factorial. This becomes 3x squared by 3 factorial, which is x squared by 2 factorial. Basically, that same series is coming up again, shifted this way, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's one way to remember it. And even if you integrate it, you'll get the same thing again. This becomes x, this becomes x squared by 2, this becomes x cubed by 3 factorial, and so on. So even when you integrate, you get e power x. Now, cos x, like e power I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. Complex numbers, e power I theta.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so here what I wanted to do is write e power I theta, like expansion, it becomes 1 plus I theta by 1 factorial plus I theta square by 2 factorial and so on. Like I theta cube by 3 factorial plus I theta power 4 by 4 factorial and so on. So you can split it into real part and imaginary part. Real part will be 1. This I square is minus 1. So this becomes real. This is I power 4. So that is 1. And so on for the real part. And the imaginary part, what will be there? Theta by 1 factorial, I cube theta cube, which becomes minus I into theta cube. So I is already outside. And so on. Right? So this is cos theta part, the imaginary, the real part. And this is the sin theta part. Okay, so this is where you get the formula for cos theta and sin theta. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is how we get the formula. But it's better to remember this. Okay, cos theta and sin theta. So e power minus x squared by 2, if I expand this, it becomes 1 plus what?
X by
Minus
1 factorial.
2 into 1 factorial plus x power 4 by 4 into 2 factorial minus x power 6 by 8 into 3 factorial and so on. This is e power minus x square by 2. Minus cos x becomes minus 1 minus x square by 2 factorial, x power 4 by 4 factorial, minus x power 6 by 6 factorial, and so on. It's an infinite series. Okay, divide by x cube tan x, I'll leave it as it is. Okay, it's a strategy here. Okay, so then limit x tends to 0. What happened? 1 will cancel out. Minus x square by 2 factorial will cancel out. Then x power 4, what am I left with? X power 4 by 4 into 2 factorial is 8. Minus x power 4 by 4 factorial is 24. Then here, minus x power 6 by 6 into 8 is 48. Plus x power 6 by 6 factorial, which is 720. And so on. Okay. So you can write the numerator as, okay, numerator will become, this can be written as 3 by 24, like 1 by 8. This becomes 2 by 24, which is x square by 12. Then here you will get x power 6 by k. I'm not even calculating this. Okay, this is x power 4 here. And then here below, what do we have? I have x cube by tan x, right? So I'm leaving tan x as it is because I know tan x by x formula. Okay. So this simply becomes limit x tends to 0. Divide numerator and denominator by x power 4 to get tan x by x. Okay. Denominator becomes tan x by x. Numerator becomes, okay, there'll be many more terms after this. Okay. So numerator becomes 1 by 12 minus x square by k and so on. Some x terms will be there, right? Basically, that's the idea. When you put limit x tends to 0, all these terms become 0. Tan x by x is 1, and you get your answer as 1 by 2.
Yes, sir, got it.
Okay. Now,
sir, is it
okay.
not possible to use LHS rule, sir?
L'Hopital rule you can use, but it will be very long. Like you'll have to keep differentiating again, right? There's x cube by x cube into tan x. Okay. So you want to remove the 0 from the denominator as well. So how many times should you differentiate?
Oh, yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, let's continue integration.
Sir, I had another doubt, sir.
We'll do that later.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so just keep it on hold. Okay, you have it with you, right? Just send me the question.
It's not any question, sir. It's a simple doubt only.
Ask.
When we have 50C1 plus 50C3 plus 50C5 and so on till 50C51.
50C49.
50C51.
Okay,
yes, sir, but in the question it was given.
Who gave you this question? Okay, anyway. Then?
This equates to 2 power 51 minus 1. Yes, sir. How? I don't know.
It's wrong because the question should be 51C1, 51C3, 51C5 up till 51C51. Then it's correct. Okay. So,
yes, sir.
So this is how the question will be. What will happen is that, okay, 51C1, you can write that as 51C50. 51C3, you can write that as 51C48. Right? Okay, all the way up to 51C51, which you write as 51C0. Okay. when you take the LHS terms and add them up, you get the question, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's call that sum x. The RHS terms, the sum should also be x because they're all equal to.
Yes, sir.
Okay, when you add all of them up, what is the series you're getting? 51C0 plus 51C1 plus 51C2 plus 51C3. Like this, it goes on, right? Like
Yes, sir. So
51C49.
sum of
So that'll come up to 2 power 51.
51.
So this is 2x equal to 51. We need to find x. X is 2 power 51 minus 1.
Okay, sir, got it.
Okay. So properties involving inequalities. This is fairly obvious, right? Okay, is this clear? If f of x is less than or equal to g of x on a comma b, then integral a to b f of x will be less than or equal to integral a to b g of x, because f of x should be less than g of x, less than or equal to g of x at every point in between. Then only this is true. Okay. So the idea is this: when you have a function and you know for a fact it is greater than the other function, the area the first function makes will definitely be greater. Okay, understood? In that same span, if you take the area, the first function will be greater. That's the idea. Okay. But one more conclusion you can bring from here is m into b minus a is less than or equal to a to b f of x dx equal to m into b minus a. So here m is the minimum value of f of x in a to b. Okay, m is the maximum value of f of x in a to b. So what is being preached over here is that you have some function like this, and you're going from A to B. Okay. So B minus A is this length. Let's just keep that aside. M is the minimum in this range, A to B. Capital M is the maximum. So I'll call this M, this is small m. The idea is when I say integral of f of x between A to B, I'm looking at this blue shaded area. Okay. I'm looking at this blue shaded area here for f of x from A to B. And when I do small m into b minus a, what do I mean here? It's this area here, right, guys? This rectangle area.
Yes,
Which
sir.
is greater? Which is greater? Obviously, that function, integral f of x. Okay, from a to b. So what am I even writing? Okay, integral f of x from a to b will be greater. Okay, now suppose you take the other function. Like, suppose you want to involve capital M, which is the maximum value of the function between a to b. So then if you do m into b minus a, it's the area of this bigger rectangle, right? That'll be lesser than this. That'll be greater than this dashed area because you took the maximum value multiplied by this. You understood the visual here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So understand it. So if you have to, so yeah, let's use this in a question. You have to prove that 4 is less than or equal to okay. Let's do one question here, probably. So you see this inequality sign with integration. This is what you apply. Okay, take f of x as 3 plus x cube. Between 1 to 3, you know that 3 plus x cube is an increasing function. You want proof? F dash x is 2x square, which is positive. Okay, between 1 to 3. So you know that it's an increasing function for sure, this one. So since there's an increasing function, the minimum value will be at its first value when x is equal to 1. So it becomes 4. And maximum value will be when x is equal to 3. That will be 27 plus 3, 30. Okay. So you can say here that integral root of f of x is what we are talking about. Okay. So integral root of f of x dx will be less than or equal to the root of m. So m's the maximum value of this function, root of f of x, will be root m into b minus a, 3 minus 1, be less than or equal to root of small m into 3 minus 1. So this becomes root of small m is 2. 2 into 2 is 4. It's then equal to 0 to 3. Sorry, 1 to 3. Root of 3 plus x cube dx. Then equal to root of m becomes root 30. And then 3 minus 1 is 2. And this is how we prove it. Easy? Got this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please solve this. Shriyani, please write the notes down. Okay, ignore the 51C part and all. Okay. Doing properties involving inequalities, we just started. So idea is this: when a function is lesser than another function between a and b for sure, the integral will be lesser than the integral of the other function for sure. Okay. Now, the other property we did was this. Second part. Small m is the smallest value this function takes between a and b. Capital M is the maximum value this function takes between a and b. Okay. This is the figure for it. Noted it down.
Yes, sir. Done.
You noted it, right? Hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, this is generally used for JEE Advanced, but in case they ask, Leibniz rule of differentiation, d by dx of integral g of x to h of x f of t dt will be equal to f of h of x into h dash x minus f of g of x into g dash x. All right. Leibniz rule here. So if you're doing for d by dx of a to b, f in terms of two variables, x comma t. This becomes a to b d by dx of x comma t dt. Okay, you can change the order of integration and differentiation. That's the idea. Okay. Next is combining both of these together. So this is when the limits are like values here. Okay. d by dx of x of x f of x comma t dt. This is the general case. Becomes g of x h of x d by dx. Understand? We are changing the order first. n plus f of x dash x. Chance of them asking this is very low, but it can be useful just in case. In case they ask in two variables, x and t. Okay, that's the idea. Like x will be there, but then there's a dt here which is integrated that way. You dash x. Okay, please note this down, guys.
Sir, the plus f of h of x, h dash of x doesn't fall under the integral, right, sir?
No. It doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay.
Integrating only dt. Actually, this is not very useful for you guys, but it's good to know. Like that's why I'm just giving it to you. In case something like this happens, use it. Okay. Have you written it down, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, one small question based on this, since it's not that important. We're trying to find something else. Limit x tends to 0, 0 to x, cos e square dt divided by x. How would you solve this? You'll apply L'Hopital rule first. You'll differentiate the numerator and denominator. Denominator you differentiate, you get this. But when you differentiate the numerator, what do you get? Cos of, put the last one here. Like differentiating an integral leads to that same thing. Think like that. Okay. So cos of x square into you differentiate x, you get 1 minus cos of 0 square and differentiate 0, you get 0. This goes off. You're left with your answer as cos x square and you put limit x tends to 0. And this becomes 1 here. Okay, got this? Straightforward?
Yes.
Okay. Oh. So the idea here is simple. You have some limit n tends to infinity. 1 by n sigma function in terms of r by n, where r moves from 0 to n or something. Okay. So you have this. What you do here is you take this sigma sign as integral sign. Integration is basically addition. Okay. You're adding areas here. Now, 1 by n, you see that n is tending to infinity. Okay, so 1 by n is a small positive value. Think of it like that. So this is basically referring to dx. Okay, r is a value that moves between 0 to n or whatever. So r by n is your variable x. Okay, all right. So r moves from whatever value to whatever value. So r by n becomes your variable x here. Okay. So once you apply these things, what does this become? Limit n tends to infinity gone. 1 by n is dx. This f of x comes here. This is it. Okay. You're transforming limit into an integral. This is very useful. Understand this? Understood this here? 1 by n, you simply take as dx. R by n, you take as x. And sigma, you change it. Sigma and limit n tends to infinity, you change it for integral. Okay, limit n tends to infinity and sigma together becomes the integral sign. Okay. Like I'll show a question and demonstrate, it'll make more sense then. Okay, but for now, understand this much. Wrote it down? 3 things
Yes.
I want you to write down. One is this, other is this, third is this. Okay. Basically, this limit becomes this here. Okay. Now, so this integral will be going from A to B, right? A is the lowest value of R by n, as in lowest limit of R by n when n tends to infinity. And B is the highest value of R by n. So X is what is moving from A to B, right? Right. Highest value of this. And it'll all make sense to you now, don't worry. Just note it down for now. We'll practice one question. 1 by n plus 1 plus 1 by n plus 2 all the way up till 1 by 6n. You have to prove that this is equal to log 6. Okay. So how do we take care of this? So you write it the first and last form, in the sense, write it in sigma form, okay? So your first objective is to convert it into sigma form with 1 by n outside the summation sign. Okay. Guys, with me till here? You need 1 by n outside the summation sign and you want to write it in sigma form as a function in R by n. Okay. So first, I will see what I have. N plus 1 is there. Second term is n plus 2, and it's tending to infinity. So this goes up till the last term, which is n plus 5n. Right? We are trying to form a pattern here. So all of this is nothing but sigma n plus r. Okay, where r moves from 1 to 5n. Right? No? All of this. Guys, does this make sense or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're all with me right now? Okay. So here, remember, our next objective is to take 1 by n outside. So do exactly that, no? 1 by n you take outside. Okay. Which means, if you take 1 by n outside, it means here, from here you took, and then what do? You make it a function in terms of r by n, right? You have to make it a function in terms of r by n, this one. So when you take 1 by n outside, this becomes 1 by 1 plus r by n, right? This is your f value. Getting this, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we have it in this form. We convert it to integral form. So integral means this and this is taken care of. We have to put limits, right? A comma b, a to b. How do you find the limit? The minimum value of r by n will be what? 1 by n, limit n tends to infinity. What is that? That is 0. It starts from 0. Now, the maximum value of r by n is what? Maximum value of r is 5n. 5n by n, maximum value, like that limit comes out to 5. So the integral is going from 0 to 5. Understood? Okay, r by n is your variable x. So we are taking the minimum value and the maximum value of r by n. That is where the integral will travel. Okay. Now the function will be what? Replace r by n with x. So it will be 1 by 1 plus x. And 1 by n is nothing but dx. Understood how I converted this into an integral? Please take a good look at it, try to understand and ask me doubts. Come on. Okay, so what will this come out to? Did you understand this, guys?
Yes, sir.
This becomes log 6 minus log 1. Log 1 is 0. So you get your answer as log 6 here. Right. Let's do another question. Same type. Okay, so you get the flow of it. Now you just saw it for the first time. That's all you did. Okay. Just understand the processes involved. Okay. Let's do another question, shall we? Are we ready? Guys, are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Next question. Srivatsan, you're silent.
No, sir.
You're not silent.
I'm following, sir.
Okay. Okay, next is this. Try this question. First thing you do is convert it into sigma form. You have to find the value of this limit. First, write it in generic form, n by n square plus 1. Try to figure out number of terms involved. Okay, n square plus 2 square, all the way up till, why is the last term 1 by 2n? Because you can rewrite that as n by n square plus n square. Understood? You're looking at n terms here. What can this be written as? Limit n tends to infinity, sigma r equal to 1 to n by n square plus r square. Okay. So next step is I'll convert it into r by n form. Okay, so it becomes limit n tends to infinity, sigma r equal to 1 to n. To convert into r by n form, I divide numerator and denominator by n square. So numerator becomes 1 by n, and this becomes 1 by r by n whole square. 1 by n I need to remove out also. Okay, so then this simply becomes limit n tends to infinity, 1 by n, sigma 1 by 1 plus r by n square, where r moves from 1 to n. Now converting it into integral sign, what do you do? This is integration. Now r by n, r takes minimum value of 1, so then 1 by n tends to 0. R takes maximum value of n, so n by n tends to 1. You're integrating from 0 to 1. Okay, and the function here is, function is what? 1 by 1 plus x squared, and then 1 by n is dx. Right, so this will become tan inverse x going from 0 to 1. And the answer becomes 5 by 4. Yo, I wasn't supposed to solve this. I was supposed to let you solve this. My God, what am I doing? Okay, but did you guys get the idea?
Yes, sir.
You understood the sequence of steps here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Try a little more difficult version. Lakshanya, getting this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Try a little more difficult version of this. N tends to infinity n factorial by n raised to 1 by n. Okay, this is what you need to find. Okay, so here I told you this is a little tougher because it's involving log as well. Okay, so n factorial by n power n raised to 1 by. Okay, so this, you can write this like this. This will become n factorial is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 all the way up till 3, 2, 1. Right? Now, this is what you divide by n power n. There are n terms here. You give n to each part. Understanding? Okay. I hope you can see R by n trying to be formed here. Okay. So I will call this value as A. Raised to 1 by n will be there. This value is A. Okay. Guys got this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now what do we do? Log of A. What is log of A? Ln of A. Natural log. Ln of A will be 1 by n. Okay. Limit n tends to infinity. 1 by n into what? Log of this value, right? Log of n factorial by n power n, right? But we need summation there. So summation, to show the summation is why I wrote it in this form, okay? Log A into B is what? Log A plus log B, right? Right, so then this becomes limit n tends to infinity, 1 by n, and then log of n by n plus log of n minus 1 by n plus all the way up to log of 1 by n. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So n tends to infinity, 1 by n, sigma r goes from 1 to n log r by n. Done? This is simply 0 to 1. R by n. Here will be 1 by n, which is 0, n by n, which is 1, and there will be dx and the log x. Right? This comes out to what? X log x minus x. So x log x minus 1. From 0 to 1. 0 will be 0. 1 will be 1 into log x is log 1 is 0 minus 1. You get this as minus 1. And here you're getting this as ln of a. Okay, we haven't found a yet. A is e power minus 1x. Okay, so 1 by e will be our answer here. It was tougher only because of that product part. Once you see product and all, what do? You convert it to log. Simple. Okay, after that, this problem becomes cake. Do you have any doubts, guys? Do you have any doubts, or is that it?
No doubts.
Okay. Then, okay, so yeah, I think I should give a few questions of practice. Yeah. But it's tough to find such questions online also. I've noted down everything I could find. All right. So these are your practice questions. Wait, actually, we did this problem, right, already? The third one? Sorry, the second or the first one? Okay, sorry, I'll call this question 2. Yeah, the second question. We did this already,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, except that, copy everything else, please.
So we didn't do the second one, sir.
We didn't do the second one.
No, sir.
Then
So in place of 2n, we did 6n.
2n, we put 6n. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, please note these questions down quickly. Once you're done with that, we'll begin area under a curve. Okay. Okay, so there's some function f of x, and you want to find this area from A to B. This is what you do, right? This with respect to x-axis. Now, if there's a function in terms of y, okay, and you want to find this area, okay, x-axis. Here, this area is found from, okay, A to B, integral A to B, some function in terms of y, by. Okay, guys? These are your tools, basically. All right. So if f of x was like this, you'll be getting a negative area like this from A to B, if this was A and B. Okay. This is capital A, this is capital B. From A to B, you'll be getting a negative area here, if it's under the x-axis. If it's above the x-axis, you get a positive area. Similarly, for the y part, this is a positive area. And if you're getting it on this side, you'll get a negative area. All right. Guys, this much is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here you see x is equal to g of y. The function should be represented like that. Y is equal to f of x. It means it's the y value. So y value means this height. And you multiply it with dx, which is the length of the, like the minimal length. So basically you're adding all these lines up to get this area. Okay, similarly like this. You'll be adding many small lines up to span through the entire area. Okay. Now, area between two curves, suppose. So you have y equal f of x and y equal to g of x. This is g of x. How do you find the area between these two curves? What would you do here? You find the points of intersection first. Okay. To be A and B. Okay. And then what do? You integrate. Whichever is greater. F of x is greater, right? F of x minus g of x. Basically, this height minus this height. Okay. Like this height minus this height. So you'll get this length here. Understanding? Similarly, you'll get this length here, and this length, and this length, this length, this length, like this. You find the area here from A to B. Area between two curves. You find your points of intersection and play within that. Is this clear? Or think of it like this. Whatever function you have, A to B, upper function minus lower function. You want a positive value eventually for area. Okay. So if you are asked to find area between curves like this, what do here? You break it down into a couple of parts here, right? You want to find this area. Then you have A, B, and C as the points of intersection. So A to B, you do upper function minus lower function. But then this upper function becomes lower function between B to C. So again, that's why I put the modulus here. So again, from B to C, you do another calculation for this being the upper function and this being the lower function. Understood?
Yes, sir.
These are the only tricks required in this chapter. Okay, this is all that is required. All right, then yeah, let's begin with this. Find area bounded by y equal to cos x and y equal to sin x between x equal to 0 and x equal to 3 pi by 2. Find the area. What's the first thing you'll do here?
Break it down into parts.
Exactly. First thing is draw the graph and then break it down into parts. Okay, correct. Cos x is 3 pi by 2 we are going. This is pi by 2. Pi is just 3 pi by 2 for cos x. Sin x has to go from 0 to 3 pi by 2. This is pi by 2. This is pi. So sin x go like this. 3 pi by 2 where it is minus 1. Right. So we are looking for what area? Area between these curves. So basically this area along with this area, right? All right. So you'll break the integral like the 0 to pi by 4. It will be what? Cos x minus sin x. Then rest everywhere you can see sin x is greater. Next. So from pi by 4 to 3 pi by 2, sin x minus cos x dx. That's it. And then you calculate the whole thing. That's all. Right? Any mistake here?
So we have to take it till 3 pi by 2 also.
And so
So we have to take the other region also.
thank you. Okay. This region is what you're talking about, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, this goes to 3 pi by 4. And then from 3 pi by 4, no, sorry, 5 pi by 4. So from 5 pi by 4 to 3 pi by 2, we are taking again cos x minus sin x dx. All right. So basically what we did was from 0 to 3 pi by 2, we went for mod of cos x minus sin x dx. Okay, this is what we did basically. This broke down into 3 different parts. I hope you guys got this. Okay. Find area of region included between y square equal to x and x plus y equal to 2. So please try to understand what I'm saying properly here, okay? Y square equal to x. How will it look like? Y square equal to 4x looks like this, right? And x plus y is equal to 2. 2 here, 2 will be here. We cut through. Okay, this is your x plus y equal to 2. And here you have your y square equal to x. And then what do we do? This is the area I'm trying to find, right? Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, easiest way to do this would be what? Okay, how do you do it in upper minus lower method?
Sir, just find the limits, sir. Y is equal to 2 minus x, and then you substitute that in y square is equal to x, and then find.
Substitute that here, and then you get x minus 2 the whole square equal to x, right?
Yes, sir.
So that will make it x square minus 5x plus 4 equal to 0. We get x minus 4 into x minus 1 equal to 0. So x is equal to 4 or 1. Okay. So here this will be the point 1. This will be the point 4.
But sir, if we do it with respect to y-axis, then it will be easier also.
Yes, 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 yes. But why is it tougher because of this? What makes this tough by this method? Tell me. What makes it confusing? If you understand that, this chapter is yours.
Because we have the negative axis also.
You have the negative axis. I didn't follow.
We have the negative part of x also.
Negative part, as in this side of x. Negative side of x axis. I didn't follow. I didn't follow.
No, sir, no, sir. Negative part of y.
Negative part. Okay, because it's going below. That is fine. Like, you're using this method, no? What is the issue here? The thing is, like, okay, the point 1 I can understand. Okay, from here till 4, okay, from 1 till 4, if I do this upper minus lower, like upper is the line 2 minus x and lower is the curve. Which one? Root x, right? So you have to understand there are multiple functions here. Okay, I'll draw the figure again. Okay. Y square equal to x and x plus y equal to 2, right? So y square equal to x. I want you to understand, like, is y square equal to x a function? Is it a function? No, right? It is actually a bunch of two functions. Okay, one is y equal to root x, other is, okay, this is y equal to minus root x. Understanding? Okay, so there are two functions here. We notice that, okay, fine, their point of intersection is at 1, 4, 1 and 4. Okay, so when I'm trying to find this area between them, okay, I'll just this. Okay, when I'm trying to find the area between them, you have to understand that this region, okay, only this region is giving curve minus line. Okay, this region here, you'll find it by integrating from 1 to 4. What the line, which is 2 minus x, minus the curve. The curve is y equal to minus root x. Okay, understanding? That will give me this area. We need to find this area as well, right? Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, from 1 to 4 means from here. My bad. Okay, point of intersection is what we were looking at, right? So from 1 to 4 is here. But before that, from 0 to 1, what are you doing? You're finding the difference between both these curves. Okay, the upper one is root x, the other one is minus root x. Understanding? So you're finding that between both these curves. Okay. All right. So then when you add up, you will get the correct answer. Understanding? You just need one method to solve it. But this is the longer method. I want you to understand this longer method. Why this is longer? Getting this, guys, clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the this way you can solve it and get to the right answer. No issues with that. But then why would you do that when you can look at it this way? It's directly curve minus this thing, in the sense that, like, if I write x equal to something in terms of y, okay, x equal to y square is the curve, and x equal to 2 minus y is the line. This is a function in terms of y. In terms of y, is it a function? Absolutely, it is a function. Okay. Understanding, guys? So now we are subtracting these two functions from each other. When you're looking at these blue lines, you're basically subtracting these two functions from each other. Basically, 2 minus y square is what you're subtracting from this point to this point. We find the values of y at which they intersect. Okay. For that, you solve y square equal to 2 minus y. In other words, y square plus y minus 2 equal to 0. So y plus 2 into y minus 1 equal to 0. So they meet at points 1 and minus 2. To integrate from minus 2 to 1. That's it. You'll get your answer. That is why this is easier. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
However complicated it gets, like even they give you a full circle and all. You know, the area of circle is pi as well. Like I'm telling you, suppose they give you a circle and all, you can still solve it. There is nothing. Okay. You just understand that you make it functions. Make them functions first. You'll get the parts. You'll get the parts separately. Like, suppose you're given a circle. Like, okay, suppose you have some x square plus y square equal to 1. Like, how would you find the area of this circle? Like, by these rules, You know, pi r square and all, that is fine. Answer will be pi. But how would you find it like this? You write y as plus or minus root of 1 minus x square. Got this? The really long method, but I would love it if you would understand it. Y equal to plus root of 1 minus x square is this curve here. Okay. Y equal to minus, like root of 1 minus x square means it's a positive value. So when you put a minus outside, it becomes a negative value. So it's this curve. Understanding? You find the area between these two curves. What do? You integrate this difference from minus 1 to 1. Hope you guys are following.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
Okay, that's it.
when
This
the
is chapter.
circle,
Yes.
when the circle is, it has a center at the origin, then we can just do the top part and we can multiply it by 2, no, sir.
That's it. You have the chapter with you. Okay. So once you see symmetry, you don't calculate the whole thing. You just calculate the top part. Exactly what you said is correct. Just calculate the top part and multiply by 2 once you see symmetry there. Okay. Or what you can do is just find this sector and multiply by 4 also if you want. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Right,
Yes, sir.
from 0 to 1, you can integrate this and then multiply that by 4. Okay. So there are varieties of techniques here. But once you gather that concept only, it'll all come clear to you. All right. Like what you're dealing with here. Then I think from here onwards, this chapter should be simple. Just that it'll be a little tedious with the calculations. Okay. Like even if you know, okay, this might not be the fastest method, but as long as you know you're on the right track, it's fine. You will get the right answer. Okay, guys. So
Yes,
that
sir.
was the confidence I wanted to impart. Now, do one question. Find the area bounded by curve equal to root of 5 minus x square and y equal to mod of x minus 1. Find the area bounded by these curves. So this is where all that practice will come into effect. Whatever you practice for integration, the techniques of integration. This is where all of that will come into proper effect. And the visual methods you learned. Everything will fall into place here. How many days do we have till your exam? Yes.
1 week, sir.
Week Lakshanya for you.
3 days, sir.
Hey. Lakshanya, how are you? Are you good with differential equations?
I'm practicing, sir, but I'm not very sure. If I practice means I will get it, sir.
Okay. Please try to cover that up. So when you come for my class, it'll be a cakewalk. It'll be nothing. Well, if
Yes,
you
sir.
understand all this properly, you know that chapter is nothing. Like there's just 2-3 things to remember. Okay, mainly. Draw the figure. What do you get? X square plus y square equal to 5. The upper semicircle where y is positive. Okay. And then here, 1 will be somewhere inside. Y is equal to x minus 1. We are looking for this area, right? We find the points of intersection first. So this is the
Minus
line
1 comma 2, sir.
y equal to minus x plus 1. This is y equal to x minus 1. Come again? What did you get?
Minus 1 comma 2, sir.
Okay. Minus 1 comma 2. You become?
No, sir. I mean, minus 1 is one x value and 2 is one x value.
Okay. Minus 1 is here and 2 is here. Okay, fine. So what do you do here? From minus 1 till the point 1, you are integrating what? The curve, root of 5 minus x square, minus this line, which is 1 minus x. And from 1 to 2, you are integrating the curve, root of 5 minus x square, minus the line, x minus 1. Okay. You find this separately for both. Let's not do the calculation now. Okay.
Sir,
Got this?
it's not wrong to directly write it as minus 1 to 2 root of 5 minus x square minus integral of minus 1 to 1 minus x, then minus 1 to 2 x minus 1, right, sir?
Yeah. That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. Because since you're adding both these parts up, yes, you can do that. But I hope the visual idea was clear from this.
Yes,
This is
sir,
what I
yes, sir.
wanted. Okay, there are two functions here at the bottom. That's what you have to understand. Okay. Find and goes curve y equal to log to the base e x plus e and the coordinate axis. What is happening here? You know y equal to log x will look like this. When I say y equal to log x plus e are moving e units this way. All right. So basically, it'll end up looking something like this. Got this? You're moving it this side. Like minus e units to the, like minus e units, you'll move it. Okay. So you have to find this area. That's the game. Okay. I hope you're getting the figure. Once you get the figure, the battle is done. Next question is, when is this equal to? So we want to find this point, right? We know it will go on till 0, but what is this point? So the question you are asking is, when is log plus x plus e equal to 0? When is that happening? When x plus e is equal to e power 0, which is 1, or x is equal to 1 minus e. So this is the point, 1 minus e. So you'll be integrating from 1 minus e to 0, log of e. And then what do you do? Replace x plus e with t, just for the name, for namesake. So then what happens? When x is equal to 0, e becomes e. When x is equal to 1 minus e, t becomes 1. And this becomes log t to the base e. Simple. Okay, you can manage from here, right? The integration part. But you can see more questions here. This is a homework question. Y equal to mod x minus 1 and y equal to minus mod x plus 1. Find area between the curves. Okay. Find the area bounded by the curves. Same thing. So you get 4 lines. Okay, understand that. This mod x will remove as plus or minus. You'll end up getting 4 lines. Now, the next question is find the area of the region denoted by R, which is that of all points x, y such that mod x less than or equal to mod y and x square plus y square less than or equal to 1. X square plus y square less than or equal to 1 means you are looking inside a circle. Now, when I say mod x less than or equal to mod y, I have to basically draw 2 lines, x equal to plus y and x equal to minus y. Okay. Where is mod x less than or equal to mod y? In this region? Okay. That's what I want you to understand. Okay, we are looking at the area of this region. So once you identify all this, right, it becomes a geometry problem, not really an integration problem. Okay, here. You can see clearly this is like half the area of that circle, right? Okay, these are like 2 perpendicular diameters. So you have nothing to worry here. This will be like half the, you have x equal to y line here, y equal to minus x line. You can see that this is perpendicular. So this is like half the area of the circle. Area of the circle is pi here, pi into, you have the radius here as 1. So you're looking at the answer as pi by 2. Directly you write it. Okay. So you understood the game in this chapter, right? You draw a figure and then you understand the different parts of the figure, find the points of intersection, and boom, find the answer. All right, got this?
So how did you get the shaded part?
How did you get
The shaded part.
the shaded part? Okay, good question. So we have mod x less than or equal to y. So this represents 2 lines basically, that is for sure. But the line divides it into different regions, the lines. Okay. So like here, okay, mod x less than or equal to y. You can write this as mod y by mod x greater than or equal to 1. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So mod y by mod x greater than or equal to 1. So just take the line y equal to x. Okay. Y equal to x. So which region are we talking about? The region will be like the plane will be divided into 2 regions here. Okay, one on this side, the other on the other side, right? So which of these regions are we talking about when I say mod y by mod x greater than or equal to 1 or mod x less than or equal to mod y? Which region? Just take a point in any region and check. That's all. Understand? Okay. So if I take the point here, 1, 0, what happens? Mod x will be greater than mod y. Okay. So I'll take a point in this region, 0, 1. But you don't need to do that. Once you realize this is not in this, it's in the other region. Understood? Similarly, if I draw, Shreya, are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Like y equal to minus x. Suppose I draw y equal to minus x. And I take the point 1, 0. Okay. Does this work? No, it doesn't.
So I didn't understand the second part.
Okay, once again. So y equal to minus x line is here. With mod y, one second. No. Whatever I'm saying here looks wrong because there'll be a point here, right? -1, 0. That won't be satisfied. When I say mod y less than x. Okay, let's just look above the x-axis for now. Okay, the same will apply for below the x-axis. We're looking above the x-axis. Mod y less than or equal to x. So, we can say the slope will be greater than or equal to 1. Does that make sense? The mod of the slope will be greater than or equal to 1. Like any point you take, you draw a vector towards the origin. The slope will be greater than or equal to 1.
Yes.
From this, I can say that. What are the points that satisfy this? That's the easiest way to think about it. Okay. So slope is greater than or equal to 1 means it can't be here. It cannot be there. And here, mod of slope is greater than or equal to 1 means it cannot be here also. That negative version will also be deleted. So this portion will be taken. This positions will be taken. This cannot be taken. This cannot be taken. And this will be taken. So what I would suggest you do is you draw the lines first. When I say mod x less than or equal to mod y. Okay. So I'll draw the lines first. So you'll get y equal to plus or minus x, 2 lines from this. So now when you apply the inequality sign, understand that, okay, we are talking about a few of these regions here. Just take points here. 1, 0, -1, 0, 0, -1, 0, 1, and 1, okay, we did the 4 points. Put it into this, check which all regions satisfy. Okay, 0, 1 satisfies. So this region you can take. 0, -1 also satisfies. This doesn't satisfy. This doesn't satisfy. So that's how we shape this region. Also another way to look at it.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Like this? Yeah. So yeah, I'll give you one homework question, and that's it. That'll be the end of the class. So here it goes. Find area of region bounded by parabola y minus 2 the whole square equal to x minus 1. The tangent to the parabola at 2, 3 and the x-axis. So let's do the question now itself. Come on. Find the area of region bounded by y minus 2 the whole square equal to x minus 1. I'll simply expand it. Why am I expanding this, guys? Why am I expanding this? Any idea? To quickly find the equation of
Easier
tangent.
to differentiate.
No. We're just finding the equation of the tangent. Don't differentiate and do this. We did coincisions, right? Huh?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y.
Okay, exactly. X1, Y1, all of that, bring it into play. Okay, so y square becomes 3y minus 4y will become minus 2 into y plus 3 plus 4 remains plus 4. Okay, it will become plus 5 because it's minus 1. I'll take it to the side. And x becomes x plus 2 by 2. Okay, and this can be written as y minus 1 equal to x plus 2 by 2. In other words, I get 2y minus 2 equal to x plus 2, or 2y equal to plus 4. Is it the same thing I'm getting? Yes. Okay. So we have our tangent with us ready. Okay. Now tangent is ready. Now what do we do? We'll draw the parabola. So we have y minus 2 the whole square equal to x minus 1. So 1, 2 will be the vertex. Look like this. Now at 2, 3 is where you drew the tangent. So it will be somewhere here. Okay. You're looking for the area between bounded by the tangent, the parabola, and the x-axis. This is the area I'm looking for. All right, guys? Huh? How would you solve this? Tell me.
So integrate the tangent line with the intercept and with the x-intercept and
So x-intercept you're using, huh? Okay. Guys, no need to do all that. That dy, okay. All right, integrate like this. Are you following? You write the curve in this way. X equal to y minus 2 the whole square plus 1. Okay, that is this curve. All right. And the line, you write it as x equal to 2y minus 4. Both you simply subtract and integrate. Okay, for that you might have to find this point. That's the only tough part. Okay, you just need to solve both. That's all. Are you getting what I'm saying here? Okay. No, you don't need to solve both. What am I even saying? This point is given to us. 2, 3, right? Okay, guys. So basically, you integrate from x moving from 0 to 2. Sorry, y moving from 0 to 2. This minus this. Got that? Y minus 2 the whole square plus 1 minus 2y minus 4 dy. That's it. You have your answer with you. Getting this? Not 0 to 2, 0 to 3, 0 to 3. 2, 3. What am I even writing here? Okay. Right. There's mistakes. Guys, did you follow?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for today's class. So that's the end of the chapter. And next class, we'll try to finish off differential equations. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys. Thank you for joining. And yeah, see you in the next class. If you have any doubts, please ask.
thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
To take care.